What's up, guys? Welcome to Demo with Mo. I'm your host, Monique Simmons. We'll be discussing dating, engaged, and married objectives from a young Christian's perspective. Are you guys ready? Let's dive in. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Demo with Mo. I am your host, Monique Simmons. And today, I'm excited about this new episode. If you are listening to this live, it is officially the end of November. Today is November 30th, and we are officially closing the month of November. And if you have been here this entire month with me, you know that for the whole month of November, I celebrate my birthday with a self-care challenge. And I have been doing this for a few years now. So we are officially closing this month out and officially closing out the birthday self-care challenge. And I thought this would be the perfect time. And I've never done this before. This actually is going to be a first for me. So this is pretty exciting. And I will let you guys know this. This is not usually what I do with my podcast episodes. I do a lot of research. I prepare in advance. I have my notes. I have my questions. If I'm interviewing someone, I'm just prepared in advance on kind of the main points I want to stay with, the key points. I know exactly what I want to talk about, exactly kind of where I want to stay with. I'll go rear off a little bit here and there, but I always have my main things that I want to come back to. I really want to stay with, but today is not going to be like that. What I really wanted to do is kind of let you guys know and take you along this journey with me of what I did this month, letting you know the things that I accomplished, no matter how small, how finite they may seem to you guys, or how big they may seem to you guys. I just kind of want to take you along this self-care journey with me in this birthday challenge that I set up for myself each year, because that's how important self-care is for me in my life. And the only reason it's that important to me, and you've probably heard me say this 1,000 times over, is because there was a time in my life where self-care was not important, where I put myself on the back burner, where I took care of everybody else, where I prioritized everyone else except Monique. And y'all, I'm just getting started. I'm opening up this episode today, and I'm already getting tears in my eyes, and I don't even know why, but that's how important self-care is to me and taking care of my well-being. And my approach to self-care is a holistic approach. So the things that you're going to hear me talk about, the things that you're going to hear me discuss, is not going to be all of the things that you probably hear or all of the things that you probably see on your social media platforms, your Instagram and your TikToks, all of the curated and to getting your nails done and getting your hair done and lighting up the candles and soaking in the bathtubs. And don't get me wrong, you're going to hear a few of those things, because I love those things as well. And I like the relaxing and taking care of yourselves, and all those things have their place as well. But I really love the holistic approach of taking care of your well-being from the inside out, because you really have to, if this thing is going to be a lifestyle, it's not just something that you do here and there and only when you have time. Because let's be honest, how many of us have time or really make the time to really take care of ourselves the way we should? A lot of us don't. And that's the reason why you don't hear or see. And for some of you who are listening to this, you probably roll your eyes when you hear me talk about self-care, or when you see my self-care posts on Facebook and on, if you're following me or you're even in our private group on Facebook, plug there. If you're not following us or you're not a part of that group, Dating, Engaged, and Married Objectives, I encourage you to join us over there. But we talk about self-care specifically on Sundays. We have self-care Sundays, but some Some of you guys may roll your eyes when you see those posts, because don't get me wrong, I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. And that's what started these whole birthday challenges for me, where I started these accountability posts where I shared what I did every day for myself for the whole month of November, because that was a part of me holding myself accountable. It wasn't just to bring people into my life and show them what I did for myself, like it was some badge of honor or some brag of what I was doing for myself. No, it was for me to hold me accountable. Monique, take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You burnt out, you're going to lose your mind, your health is going. God is so awesome how he created us. Because if you don't take care of you, your body will tell you. If you don't make the time to rest, to rejuvenate, to take out the time that you need to take, if you don't take off work, if you don't use your PTO, if you don't take a break here and then, if you don't rest, if you don't do the things that you need to do, your body will shut down. Your body will physically do it for you, whether you choose it or not. So the point of you doing the self-care and trying to take care of yourself and make sure your well-being is good is so you don't have to go through all of those things. We really have to start taking care of ourselves. And the whole point of the self-care challenge and the birthday challenge that I do for the whole month of November, it all started some years ago, is for me to hold myself accountable, to begin to take care of myself and my well-being. And it became a lifestyle. It started off with a month and it became a lifestyle. So I don't only do this in November, because what would 1 month do for me out of a whole year? I would still be burnt out. But I had to start somewhere. And the same thing for you. We have to start somewhere. So it started out for me for my birthday month, to celebrate my birthday, because I had to begin somewhere. And then it became a lifestyle. So now it's a daily thing for me. I found some pocket of time, whatever that looks like for me, I find some pocket of time to do something for myself, to take care of me, to remember me, whatever that looks like for me. And I hope me doing it for myself, it encourages you to do the same thing for you. So this is what this episode is about today. I hope I have caught your attention. I hope something stands out to you. I hope it has grabbed you in these first few minutes and you want to stay along for this journey and hear the things that I've done. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. So on this 30-day self-care birthday challenge, that's what we're going to be discussing today. All of the things that I've done throughout the month. So day one, November 1st, we kicked off the month. I turned 35 this year, which is it's just huge. I still can't believe that I'm officially 35. Okay. So on day one, I don't know why, but every year around November, I guess it's just that time of the year, but I always end up getting sick around my birthday. It's just without fail, like clockwork, I always get sick. So I had been sick the week prior to starting off or kicking off this self-care challenge. So day one was officially the first day of November. I had just started feeling better. I went and grabbed dinner and coffee, and I did a podcast interview with a close girlfriend of mine to kick off the Journey of Love series. And that podcast interview went wonderful. And it was just, even though I was doing an interview, it was nice to talk to my girlfriend. Like, I knew I was doing an interview, but sometimes when you're in a podcast interview and you're really enjoying the interview, you forget that you're doing an interview. And that's how it was talking to my girlfriend, because we were talking about life and losses. And because her husband passed a few years ago due to COVID, and just walking through that and our friendship and the things that she had gone through. And it just, even though it was such a heavy topic, it was just good to have that conversation with her. And it just did something for my soul. It just did something for my soul. And for that to be the way to kick off that first day of the self-care challenge, it was really good for me. Again, even though it was such a heavy topic, I needed that. And I didn't even know I needed that. Like, I needed that conversation with her. And she needed that conversation as well. So it was a really good way to kick off that birthday challenge and that self-care challenge for the month of November. And also, that day I scheduled a session to see my therapist. And that day when I scheduled it, I hadn't realized, because I always go back and look at my calendar of when the last time I saw my therapist, because I have my individual therapist who I see, and I also have my husband and I's couple therapists who we see. And I scheduled a session to see my individual therapist. And I went back and looked at my calendar, and I didn't realize it had been over a month since I saw my individual therapist. And I try to see her at least twice a month. That is always my goal. And I could tell by some of the things I was feeling that it had been that long, but I didn't realize that I had let the time slip by and it had been that long. So I felt really good to get that session on the books with her. Like, it felt really good. So that day was a good day. Like, that day was a good day because I had been sick, and to finally, because I had been in the house for days because I had been sick. So to get out the house, to get dressed up, to put clothes on and makeup on, and to look and feel like somebody, and to have that interview with my girlfriend and really talk with her and really be able to talk with her, like to really talk, and to also get that session scheduled with my therapist. It was a good day for me. I felt really accomplished that day. Like, it was a good day. Okay, day 2, y'all. I got my hair appointment scheduled. So usually around November, I always get braids. Like, I usually get braids or crocheted or something like that. And for my listeners who may not know what crocheted is, it's like you get your hair braided down and then you get some hair added in. I really can't explain it better than that. I'm not good with the hair. That's not my thing. Google crochet hair. Just Google that so you can see what it is, what the process is. But I always get this because I always vacation around this time because I always take trips for my birthday. That's just a whole process. That's a whole thing. That's just my tradition. I love, if you guys have been listening to me for a while, you know that I love to travel. So around my birthday, I do a lot of traveling, and I don't know how to do hair. So I don't ever want to have to worry about my hair. Like, that's something that need to be not on anything that I need to worry about at all. So I always get braids around this time. So on day 2, I scheduled my hair appointment to get my hair braided. I also tried on some clothes that I had ordered for vacation that I had coming up. And what I usually do, and the reason that this is self-care for me, because some of y'all may be listening to this and, girl, this ain't no doggone self-care. But for me, it is, because I don't like trying on clothes. What I would usually do is wait to the very last minute to try on clothes, and then nothing fits or it doesn't fit the way I want it. And then I'm disappointed and I'm upset. And now I'm trying to find stuff at the last minute. And then I'm mad that I can't find anything. And now I'm in a bad mood because now my trip or my vacation is coming up and I don't have anything to wear, and it just throws everything off. And now it's a big deal when it didn't have to be a big deal, because I could have been proactive and prepared ahead of time, because you knew this trip was coming up, and why you wait to the last minute, and these clothes have been here for weeks, and why didn't you try them on? It's a whole thing when it doesn't have to be a whole thing. That's a whole word right there, y'all. But that's neither here nor there. So I tried on my clothes in advance, and it turns out everything fit the way I wanted it to fit. So I didn't have any issues with that. So, I felt really good about that. And I ordered luggage that we were going to be needing for our upcoming trip, because the way we were going to be traveling, we were not doing checked bags. We were just going to be doing our carry-on bag. So we didn't have the luggage that we needed. So I ordered the luggage that we needed. Again, I was being proactive. I wanted to make sure everything was going to be here in time, so we didn't have to worry about any last minute issues. I just was trying to do everything in advance. I didn't want any problems because I wanted everything to be smooth for our upcoming trip for my birthday. Okay. So day two was a good day. It was a good day. Now, day three. Now, here we go, getting into the things you usually would see, on social media when people talk about self-care. Like if you get on TikTok, type in self-care, these are the type of videos you will be seeing coming down your algorithm and down your timeline. So day three, I went and got my nails done. I had a pedicure. And when I go get my nails done, and I don't get pedicures as often as most people. I don't want to speak for everyone, but as often as the people that I know who get pedicures do. But usually around my birthday, I'm going to always get a pedicure. It's just something that I like to do for myself. But I do get my nails done. So I went and got my nails done and got a pedicure. And it's always an experience when I go, because I love my nail tech. I have been going to her for years, and it's appointment only. So it's usually just she and I when I go. It may be one person getting ready to leave when I get there, or maybe coming in before I leave, but it's usually just she and I. So we really get to talk. So it's always an experience, so I love it. It's a great time. Also that day, now, I always look forward to this. And this is something that doesn't cost you money. This is something that I do pretty often, at least a few times out of the month. And this may not be your thing, but this is my thing. And I do it often. And it's one of my favorite things to do for self-care. Again, don't judge me, because this may not be your thing. Well, one of the things that I did for my self-care on day three, I get on the interstate, I let my sunroof back. And if you don't have a sunroof, you can let your windows down, or you can leave your windows up, whatever your thing is. I get on the interstate, I let my sunroof back, I turn my music all the way up. I'm talking about all the way. I turn the volume. I'm sorry, I'm getting real excited right now, because again, this is like my top 5 self-care. Top 5. It's really high for me, because I'm a simple girl. Again, this don't cost you no money except a little gas, depending on how long you want to ride. But I turn my volume all the way up, and I put on one of my favorite playlists. I have a playlist called Mom Boss. Okay. So I turn my playlist up, and I just drive. I hit the interstate and I just drive. I don't have a destination. I don't have anywhere specific I'm going, but I turn the volume all the way up with my Mom Boss playlist, and I just ride and I dance. Y'all, I dance. You would think I'm in a Soul Train line. I don't know. You would think I have a whole audience. I don't care. I'm passing by people. I've had people blow at me, not like in a rude way, but blow at me like I see you, girl. That's what I feel like. They may be being rude. I don't know. But I just feel like they like, girl, I see you. Like they room me on. But I be dancing, and I have a good time. It just made me feel good. But also, I love driving. I love being on the open road. I love road trips. So again, that may not be your thing, because those things may not make you happy. It may not make you feel good. But all of those things, I love music. I love dancing. I love open road. I love fresh air. I love driving. Like all of those things make me happy. So to put all of those things together and to do them all, it just brings me so much happiness. Like I do those things, what I just explained to y'all. I do that at least a few times a month. Like it just makes me so happy. But I usually do it by myself, but sometimes my husband will be in the car with me. And I think that day when I did it, he was in the car with me, but it doesn't bother him. He usually will go to sleep or just like lay his head down or something. He just don't pay me no mind because I've been doing it so long. Everybody knows me, like my kids know me. Like when we go on a road trip, I'm gonna do it every time. And whenever we go on a road trip, don't bother mama. Like her music, especially I'm driving, she's choosing the music. Everybody else gonna put their own music on. So don't bother me. Like that is my thing. Like you want to make me happy, you want to do something fun with me, turn the music up, let the sunroof back or the windows down, and just let me dance. It make me so happy. I can't even explain to you what it does to me. My girlfriends and I, and this is getting all off the self-care, y'all. It's not, but it's getting off the 30 days of self-care. But my girlfriends and I took a girls trip to Houston this summer. And one of my girlfriends was driving and I was in the back seat, which was so much fun to me because I never get to ride in the back seat of a car. So it was just so much fun. But they were playing like old music that I love, that we used to grow up on. And she turned it up real loud and we was riding in the car. And we were on the interstate, like literally what I'm explaining to y'all that I love to do. And we had so much fun. Another one of my girlfriends was sitting beside me who loves to dance just like me. And she and I were just dancing and singing. And it was just, it made me so happy. It just made me so happy. It did. Oh my goodness. Okay, y'all, let's go to the next day because I could just talk about that. Because now I want to go do it right now. Like I want to jump in the car and go do it right now. Okay. If you've never done it, if you think it's not your thing, don't knock it till you try it. If you've never done it, try it just once. And if you're shy and you're worried about what other people think, don't worry about them. Just try it at least one time. Okay. Day 4. Oh, so day 4, I finally went and got my hair braided because I told y'all that the previous days I scheduled my hair appointment. So day 4, I actually went and got my hair braided. And my sister-in-law, my husband's wife, Lord, I am my husband's wife. My husband's sister, she braids my hair. She is a hairstylist and braider, and she is the one who braids my hair. So I went and she braided my hair. And I also tried a new hair color mix. I was so excited about that. So I definitely had to mention it. I had saw it on TikTok like months prior, and I had saved it because my hair is blonde. And it was like 3 different colors mixed. And you guys, the color came out absolutely beautiful. Like I'm in love with the color. I'm still in love with the color. And I wanted to try it and I did it. But I'm never afraid to try color in my hair. Like but I just love blonde, but I've never been afraid to try color in my hair. So that was one of the things that I did for my self-care today, like trying a new color in my hair that I wanted to try. That was dope. This was the highlight for me. I went to a Friendsgiving. I'm actually in a group on Facebook. And it's a group for women in Mississippi. But one of my girlfriends run the group, created the group. And it's a group for women in Mississippi. And it's for you to meet other women who are here locally. And we had a Friendsgiving. And it was the highlight of my day. And I ended up being late for the Friendsgiving. I won't even get all into that because I was picking up a pizza and it was just a whole mess up there at that pizza place. Y'all was a whole mess, but I won't even get into that. That's neither here nor there. But it was an amazing night. And y'all, okay, at this Friendsgiving, we were playing games. And one of the questions was, what are you thankful for? And it got to me. I think I may have been the last person to answer. I think I was. And it got to me. And what? I'm getting emotional right now. Okay. Y'all bear with me. But it got to me. And I'm not even going to go into all the details of everything I said. But it got to me. And I said that I am thankful for this moment right now. Because it was a group of beautiful Black women. And we were having such a great time. And I really, really needed that. And I began to explain to them why I was thankful for them in that moment and for that time with them because all of my girlfriends have moved away. And I was explaining it to them, except one. From, you guys have heard me mention the group chat, which is my very close circle of girlfriends. Like, you guys have heard me talk about the group chat. You guys have heard the group chat come on the podcast. And everybody has moved away except one girlfriend. And we all still talk, and we talk at least a few times throughout the week. Like, we all still talking. We're all still pretty close, but it's not the same as them physically being here. And I was explaining this to them. And I really don't open up to anyone about this. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't talk about how them not being here has impacted me. And if I'm being honest, I didn't really realize how them not being here impacted me because I've been so busy going with life, always constantly doing something. And not like busy with like overwhelmed busy, but I haven't taken the time to really sit with that because I have so many other things going on that I haven't really taken the time to just sit with that and grieve the fact that my friends aren't here anymore physically. So when I said it, I began to weep. Like, the tears began to fall from my eyes. And it was just nice to say it out loud because it wasn't real until I said it out loud. So it was a beautiful moment for me. And those who know me know how hard that would be for me to say out loud. I don't say stuff like that out loud, or it's really hard for me to share stuff like that, to let people in that kind of way. Because there's vulnerability, But I'm learning that through therapy, that it's okay to let people in like that, to be vulnerable in that way. And it felt really good. And later, after that, two of the women from their Friendsgiving, one who I've been really close to, reached out. One of them reached out and said, I heard you. You shared your heart and I heard you. And that meant everything to me. That meant everything to me. And another young lady has checked in on me multiple times since that conversation. So that night was a beautiful, beautiful day for me. So that day 4 at that Friendsgiving, was a beautiful day for me. And after that Friendsgiving, I came back home and met my husband, and we ended up going out on a date night with two other couples, and they played pool. And I say they because I don't know how to play pool. I just watched and supported from the background. They played pool. I danced. I told y'all I love to dance and I love music. If I'm ever anywhere and the music drops, Monique is going to dance. I don't care where I am, I don't care how old I'm going to be 90. If the Lord allows me to see 90 years old and there's some music playing, I'm going to bust a two-step. And I danced, I sang, and I had a good old time. So for day 4, that was my social self-care. So y'all, there are different forms of self-care. If you guys are not aware, I encourage you to Google that and look that up. There are different forms of self-care: physical self-care, social self-care, spiritual self-care, work self-care, space self-care. Like, there are so many different forms of self-care, but day 4 was my social self-care. Like, I really got to connect with people that I love and care about. And that was really important to me. That was one of the things that I had been desiring. And as I told y'all, I had been sick. So I had been in the house for a while, and I worked from home. So I spent a lot of time at home, and I'm an extrovert. So it really charges my battery to connect with people, especially connecting with people that I really care about and I really love. So day 4, y'all, ugh, yes, it was what I needed. All right, day 5. My husband and my children took me out for an early birthday dinner. So this was on a Sunday, and in the middle of the week, a couple days later, which I'll get into in a moment, we're going out of town for my birthday. So they ended up taking me out for an early birthday dinner. And we had a great time. We went to this restaurant, which I love. I go to often to work on the podcast. I usually go to a few times a month, and the food was good, service was good, and we had a great time. And I enjoyed my husband and kids. And y'all, we took a family picture. Any parents out there, I know y'all feel me, but it took me like 50 pictures to get one good picture. And it still was not like the perfect picture, but I think that's what makes it perfect. Y'all understand what I mean? It was real. It was life. It's like what a real family picture is. Like, those perfect pictures is not what your real family is like. And I think that's what makes it real. Yeah. So day 5 was a good day. Day 6 fell on a Monday. Mondays are my day where I record podcasts, do interviews, edit the podcast, anything dealing with the podcast. That's what I do on Mondays. And it's also my self-care day. So I whatever I decide to do. So it's usually when I record the podcast, and then I'll go out for dinner or whatever I decide to do. Sometimes I may order takeout and eat in the car, or whatever I decide to do. Is just my self-care day to decide to do whatever I want to do. But right now we are in basketball season for my daughter, my oldest daughter, who plays basketball. Oh, and she's having such a great season. She's doing such a great job. So sometimes, most weeks, her game falls on Mondays. So this day 6, which fell on a Monday, my daughter had a game. So instead of me trying to stretch myself thin, because I had a podcast interview, which was scheduled before I knew about her game, instead of me trying to stretch myself thin, which I'm going to be perfectly honest with y'all, in the past, I would have done. Yeah, I would have done. Before these self-care challenges, before I started learning how to take care of myself and my well-being, I would have stretched myself thin. I would have just did it all. I wouldn't have cared about taking care of myself. I wouldn't have. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. That's where these self-care challenges came from. I would have went to her game. I would have done the interview. I would have made dinner for the family. I would have stayed up all night editing the podcast. I would have made it all work. I would have maybe got a few hours of sleep and figured it out. That's what I would have done. But instead of doing that, because I'm on this self-care challenge and I'm taking care of my well-being, I rescheduled the podcast interview, something I would have never done in the past. Rescheduling? Who does that? I rescheduled the podcast interview for another day where my daughter did not have a game. I went to my daughter's game to support her. And I didn't make myself do all of these things and stretch myself thin, because you don't have to do that. You can choose your well-being. You can choose to take care of yourself, and that's self-care. And what I ended up doing, because it was still my self-care day, that didn't change. It was still Monday. So after her game, I ended up bringing everybody back home, and I left. When it ended up going out to Chili's and ordering takeout. And I sat in my car. I came back home in the driveway, sat in my car, ate my takeout, and watched TV on my phone, and just enjoyed that quiet time by myself with my food without a toddler asking me for some, and enjoyed that time alone by myself, and came on in the house when I got done. And it was a good day. It was a good day. It was a good day. Day 7, I went and got a wax on my lunch break. Shout out to my wax lady. We have a good time whenever I go for my wax. Yeah, let me say this. I am not a fan of small talk at all. Like, I don't like small talk. If we're going to talk, and don't get me wrong, I love to talk. But if we're going to talk, I want to talk. Like, let's talk for real. I don't like small talk. I just don't. But when me and my wax lady get together, I don't know what it is about her. We can talk about whatever. Like, we literally can talk about whatever. We have a good time. So I went to get my wax done on my lunch break. And then when I clocked out for work that day, I was on vacation. I officially went on vacation. So, oh yeah, and I also went and voted. Day 7 was voting day. So I went to go vote. I hope you guys went and voted too. November 7th. I hope you went and voted. It's a little late now. It's November 29th. But I hope you exercised your right to vote. And I also got my interview done. That podcast interview that I told you that I had to reschedule. I got my podcast interview done. So day 7 was a great day. Day 8. Do you guys know what day 8 was? Day 8 was my 35th birthday. Happy birthday to me. Day 8, my daughter, my 3-year-old, my toddler, she had been homesick. So I didn't tell you guys that before on the previous days, but she had been homesick. Okay. I don't know what it was. November had been a rough month for us in the Simmons household. It was just like, we were sick and it was just passing through our house. I'm just happy to be done with it. That's all I thank God we are done with that. But day 8, and I thank God for this, because he allowed me to have my birthday to myself and not with my toddler, Lord. And I love my baby girl, but it was rough. I told y'all I working from home with a 3-year-old sick baby. Whew, it was rough, y'all. It was rough, but I made it. But day 8, my baby officially felt better, so I was able to drop her off at daycare. I got the house clean. The lady that cleans our home, she came that day. Whew, ain't nothing like a clean home, baby. Y'all remember how I explained to y'all how it makes me happy doing that drive for my self-care with the music turned up? That's how I feel about when I get my house clean. Okay? Yes. Okay. I also took myself out for lunch. Y'all, I remember there was a time in my life I would have never went out and took myself out to eat and sat by myself where people would be watching me eat and just be by myself. I would have never years ago. Now I take myself out all the time. Like, I will get up and go by myself, and I don't need nobody to go with me. I want to go eat. I ain't got nobody to go with me. No problem. No problem. So I took myself out for lunch. I went to this new restaurant that I had heard people talking about. I sat at the bar. The food was great. The service was great. Just had a good old time. I listened to one of my favorite podcasts while I was there. No issues. Had a great time. I also, after I had lunch, I went to Nothing Bundt Cakes, picked up my free birthday buntlet. I talked to some people because, for your birthday, people usually reach out to you, text you, call you, etc. for your birthday. But some people I hadn't talked to, to be honest, I was not expecting a call or text from or to hear from them, but I did. And I was thoroughly surprised. And it was some people that I really wanted to hear from, but I was not expecting to hear from. I'm not saying this in a way like, why were they reaching out to me? I'm saying this in a way of, I would have loved to hear from them. I just wasn't expecting to hear from them because I haven't talked to them. But I heard from some people that I was not expecting to hear from, that I was really glad and I was really surprised to hear from them. So that felt really good. It felt really good. So day 8, I can say it was an amazing day. I had a really good birthday. I did. I got a lot of stuff that I wanted for my birthday. And my son kept reminding me, you didn't ask for anything for your birthday. I did not ask for anything for my birthday this year. I did. My husband, what he did was he went, which is smart. You guys should do this. He went on my Amazon account and got things that I had in my Amazon cart for my podcast, which I thought was really dope. I'm actually, as I'm recording this, I'm using my new mic that I had in my Amazon cart. And that mic has been in my cart for almost a year now. So I thought that was pretty dope. But he got me a lot of the things that I had in my Amazon cart, which I thought was pretty freaking dope. Pretty freaking dope. So day 9, y'all, your girl went to Miami. If you guys heard the interview my husband and I did a few weeks back, we talked about this trip a little bit. Well, I talked about this trip a little bit when I opened the podcast episode. But my husband took me to Miami for my birthday. So one of the things for my self-care, I took a nap on the plane ride there. Yeah, I never sleep on plane rides, but the flight was so comfortable that I fell asleep on the flight there. And also, my husband ended up taking me to a birthday dinner at this restaurant called The Moon. If you're ever in Miami, I highly recommend, especially if you are celebrating something, birthday, anniversary, graduation, any celebration. Because the restaurant is a little pricey, I will say that. But as my husband say, everything is expensive in Miami. But I highly recommend you trying The Moon. I had an amazing time. So I will say this. Part of my thing that I wanted to do for my self-care is knocking some things off my bucket list. This was one of my goals when I started the self-care challenge. I wanted to knock some things off my bucket list. I wanted to face some of my fears. That was part of what I wanted to do. That was just my own personal thing that I wanted to do for my self-care challenge this year. I wanted to face my fears, some of my fears, and I wanted to knock some of the things off of my bucket list. And I will say that I did that, especially when we were in Miami. So at the Moon, when we first walked in, they have this, which I knew before we got there, but I also knew it was optional. They have this show that they do. And part of the show at the end, they have it where all of the people that celebrate their birthdays can come up on stage. But again, it's optional. But when we walked into the restaurant, I was maybe like one or two of the first birthday people to get there. And the young lady at the door was talking to my husband. Well, she was talking to me first. And my husband kind of jumped in. She was like, "You're here celebrating your birthday. I know you're going to come on stage with me tonight." And my husband interceded and was like, "Yes, she is." So I was like, "No, I'm not." And then he says, "I thought you were facing your fears." And y'all, I couldn't say a word because that was part of the self-care challenge. That was part of me doing this. I am facing my fears. He was totally right. What could I say to that? Because I am facing my fears. So this whole time I'm sitting in the restaurant, I'm nervous. As it gets closer to time, as more people walk into the restaurant. Because y'all, a lot of people do not know this about me. People that that know me act like they don't know this about me. I am shy. Like, if I may not come across that way, but I am shy when it comes to being, I don't like being the center of attention. Like, I can be, if it's gonna be a group, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't like the attention being on me. Let me just say that. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So the closer it got to the time, the more nervous that I got. But I faced my fears. I went on the stage. I did not let my fear stop me. I learned the dance that they taught us. I did the dance. I felt good about it. I did not let the fear stop me. I faced the fears. I conquered the fears. I did it, and I didn't die. So day 9 was a good day. Day 10, we're still in Miami. I slept in. I do not usually sleep in. So that was definitely self-care for me. When I'm home, my body always wakes up early. Even when I don't want to wake up early, I wake up early. I ended up going on a speedboat ride again, conquering and facing my fears, y'all. I'm afraid of water. Like, that is one of my biggest fears. Like, I love the view of water. I love the sound of water. I love being near water, but getting in and on water, it just freaks me out. So I went on a speedboat ride. They were flying. Like, this boat was going so doggone fast. The water was like hitting us. My husband was even scared on this ride, but y'all, I just I don't even know what came over me, but I wasn't scared at all. I lifted my hands up in the air. I just enjoyed that ride and had an amazing time. Um, I also we went to the beach and I wore a 2-piece. I don't really like, I don't know. It's just, um, how do I explain this? Usually when I wear a 2-piece to the beach, I like to be covered up. Like, I like to wear cover up, and it's not because I don't like, it's not because I'm trying to be modest. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I don't have a problem with modesty. It's not because I'm trying to be modest, but it's me being self-conscious about my body or certain parts of my body. Because I feel like sometimes I'm not 2-piece ready. But I didn't worry about that. I didn't worry about that. I wore my 2-piece and I didn't think about that, how I was looking or being self-conscious. Like, I just was free and I felt free and I felt good. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being on the beach with my husband, and I enjoyed being in my 2-piece, and I felt like I looked good and didn't care what people thought, or I didn't even care if I didn't even feel like nobody was looking at me. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But day 10 was a good day. Day 11, this is another one of those adventurous things that I had been wanting to do for years. We always talk about it, but didn't do it. Day 11, we ended up going ATV riding. And usually, if I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to be careful and don't hit the holes and don't hit the mud and all of that jazz. Y'all, I was out there flying. I'm talking about, I was safe now. So if you guys on the other end, I don't want you to be like, I was out there wilding, but I was safe. But whenever there was mud, I would fly through the mud so I could get filthy. I wanted all of the experience. Like, oh my goodness, that was the highlight of my day. I had so much doggone fun. One of the ladies ended up flipping off hers, and she was driving really slow. They ended up having to move her to the back of the line because she couldn't keep up. Like, she was slowing everybody else down because she was in the front. But I had an amazing time. Oh my goodness, I had an amazing time. Day 12, I took another nap on the plane, y'all. I don't know what it was about that doggone flight, but I slept the whole time. Like, from the time I got on to the time we were almost back home. Almost back to New Orleans, because we flew to New Orleans. But I slept that whole time. And also, New Orleans is, for those of you who may not know, but those of you who've been rocking with me for a while, you know this. New Orleans is my favorite city. So we ended up staying in New Orleans for a little while, and we got breakfast and we got beignets, and it was just it was just good for me. It was just good for me. Also, something that I did that I was being proactive about, I made sure, again, the house was clean before we left. And I bought groceries before we left. So I did not have to worry about that. And another thing, when we got back home, I had hot dogs for dinner, y'all. That was my dinner. And this, I told y'all, it's different forms of self-care. This is financial self-care. Because again, I told y'all my husband said Miami was expensive. So, I went from eating lamb chops in Miami to hot dogs in Mississippi because, you got to save them coins. You got to save them coins, y'all. You got to have some balance in your life. You can't be, can't be out here wilding in these streets. Okay, day 13. Okay, day 13. You guys know that I told you Monday is my self-care day. But my daughter ended up having a game that Monday. So what I did was rescheduled my self-care day because I was still feeling refreshed from my trip because we had just got back that night prior. So I ended up rescheduling my self-care day to another day. And I went to my daughter's game. And I also got a fitness watch for my birthday. So I got my fitness watch set up that day because that is one of my physical self-care goals is wanted because I work from home. I'm not able to get my steps in like I used to. So that's one of those things I want to hold myself accountable for is making sure throughout the day, even though I work from home, I want to get my steps in. So I got my fitness watch set up so I can make sure I get my steps in each day. So that was day 13. Day 14, I finalized my plans to celebrate my birthday with my girlfriend who's going to be visiting that coming up weekend. And this girlfriend is one of my best friends who lives out of state. I told you guys that all my closest girlfriends, except one, had moved away, but this girlfriend was going to be visiting that coming up weekend. So we had finalized plans to get together because she was taking me out to celebrate my birthday. So, y'all, we're going to get into that a little bit later, but I was really freaking excited that day because we were going to be going to one of our favorite spots that we used to go to all the time before she moved away. But again, we're going to get into that a little later. And also this day, I was in bed by 8:00. Y'all, I don't know what it is, but once I hit 30, and especially as I got older, like every year after that, I like to go to bed early. I don't know what it is, but y'all, if I'm in bed by 8, it's a good day. It is a good day. Day 15, this was the day I interviewed my husband on a podcast, and we took a walk down memory lane talking about all the ways we have came along on our journey. And I hope you guys listen to that podcast episode because that was a great one for me, remembering all of the things that we went through and the things that have got us to where we are now. If you have not, go back and listen to that episode. Day 16, I went and saw my therapist. Y'all, my therapist that I hadn't seen in over a month. I told y'all, yeah. I went and had a session with her on day 16. And it was needed. It was really, really needed. It felt so good unpacking some things with her. Y'all, it was such a great session. I love my therapist. I really do. Like, it was a really good session. And we talked about so much. I don't be understanding how we get so much in an hour, but we really do. I guess because you don't have somebody, like when you're talking to other people, it's so much back and forth. Like they got a response for everything. But with my therapist, she just actually listens to me. Like I'm able to be heard and she responds when she needs to. So I'm able to get so much out and we're able to discuss so much more. And also, I talked to a girlfriend and scheduled a date for us to go do one of my bucket list goals. Day 17, the power company in our neighborhood was working on a pole and the power went out. I told y'all I work from home with no power. How you gonna work? The power ended up going out in the whole neighborhood, which actually ended up being a good thing for me because I didn't mention this, but the 2 days prior to this, I could not sleep good. I had this cough. I told y'all for the whole month of November. I don't know why, but illness was all throughout our home. We would get better. We would get sick again. We would get better. We would get sick again. But I had a cough for 2 days, which I can say now ended up being, I saw a doctor, ended up being doggone bronchitis, and I had a doggone ear infection. I didn't know this at the time, but I ended up finding out a few days later when I saw my doctor. But I could not sleep because the cough kept me up all night. Y'all, I would fall asleep. I would wake up coughing so doggone bad. It was so bad, y'all. But the fitness watch I told you about, it keeps up with my sleep as well. So y'all, I was getting like 3-4 hours of sleep. Every time I checked my watch, it was telling me how much I was getting to sleep. So with the pole being out, I was like, the internet was down. I could not work because we don't have any power. I was tempted to go do some laundry. I'm like, no, girl, you need to go to sleep. Go to sleep. So I ended up going to sleep and got a few hours of sleep. So, y'all, that sleep did me well. I feel really good. So that was my self-care for that day. Day 18. Okay. Day 18 was a really good day for me. So my best friend came into town. She and I and my goddaughter went out to lunch. We went to a Mexican restaurant again, one of my favorite Mexican restaurants that we used to go to all the time when she lived here. And y'all, we sat at the table, I know at least 3 to 4 hours, and just sat and talked about everything. And this is something we used to do all the time. Something, it's like something you do so much you take for granted. And not to say I took her for granted, because definitely never took her for granted. But the things you do that you think are so common and normal, because you always do it with each other, it was just normal to me. But we haven't done it because she hadn't been here. So when she came, and it was like old times again, it was like I needed it so much. Like every time we would be about to stop talking, we would start all over again. And my goddaughter was like ready to go. Like after like 2 hours, she was like, okay, y'all, enough of this. But we couldn't stop. Like we could not stop. We could not stop. But after almost over 3 hours, we finally like, okay, it's time for her to go. I know she's ready to go. But y'all, it filled my cup. That's the best way to put it. It filled my cup. Also, this day is when I saw the doctor and found out that I had bronchitis and a doggone ear infection, y'all. And I finally felt better after I got on the meds that I needed to be on, and I have not been sick since. So thank God for doctors and medication. Okay, day 19. So I told you guys a couple days prior, I went to see my therapist. So with therapy, stuff just don't end there. It don't even just begin there. Even before you get to your therapy session, you're trying to process what it is you want to talk about. What is it that you even want to share with your therapy? Do you want to share that? Do you want to deal with that? Once you get there, the things that you share, the things you talk about, the things you unpack. Now, if they give you homework or the things you need to talk about, if you need to talk about something with your partner or your children or your family or deal with yourself, or if you come to grips with what you talked about, if you believe what you talked about, or it's just so much more than just what you discussed in that session. Well, now it's Sunday. So day 19 is Sunday. So we are having, we're at church, and now all type of emotions are coming up, and thoughts in my mind and questions and all of the things that I discussed with my therapist. And I'm trying to work through all of that, as well as going through church service and things that's just going on in my mind. If I'm just honest, just trying to deal with all of that, and then outside noise and stuff that's going on in relationships. Day 19 was a lot. Day 19 was a lot. It was just a lot. And I just began to encourage myself. That's what my self-care was on day 19, just encouraging myself of how far that I've come, and not to go back and not to turn back into who I used to be, and my way I used to deal with things, and the way I used to respond, no matter what other people are doing, no matter the way other people are responding and what they're saying, and just to keep going and be who God has called me to be. Just to drown out the noise and keep doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing. So day 19 was me encouraging myself. Day 20. Day 20, I ended up working late because we were closing early later that week for Thanksgiving at work. And we had the option. We could either work late earlier that week to make up the time that we were going to have to miss on Friday because we were closing early, or we could use our PTO hours. I was not using my PTO hours for that. I wanted to be able to use my PTO hours for the things that I personally wanted to use my PTO hours for. So I ended up working late to make up for those hours that I was going to miss on Friday. So I would not have to use any of my personal time off. Also, someone ended up dropping off a gift card at my house for my birthday. And it was just like a little reminder for me because of the things that I was dealing with. It was just like a reminder for me from God, like, I know what you're going through. I see you and I care. That's what it felt like. It just felt like that because the day prior was so hard for me. And it was like, and they brought the gift card that same day, that Sunday after church. And I was sitting on the couch, literally like, why is this so hard? Like, I literally was having a conversation with myself. Like, well, not even with myself. I was having a conversation with God. Like, God, why is this so hard? Why am I going through this? Why am I continuing? Let me be honest. Why am I continuing to go through this? Why is this so hard? I am doing what's right. I am trying to be who you've called me to be. Like, why is this so hard? And as I am sitting there having this conversation with God, this person pulls up at my house. Like, no lie, because in the daytime, I have my blinds open in my home because I love the natural sunlight to shine through my home. And this person pulls up at my house and they're just smiling, and they don't see them, but I see them. And they pull up at my home with this little bag and leave it at the door and then send me this message. And I just thank them, appreciate them, and let them know how I feel. But it was just like this reminder, because again, I'm in the middle of having this conversation with God at this very moment. And I had been talking to God all morning because again, I'm just getting home from church and me encouraging myself and me talking. I've been talking to God all day about this. Like, this was not just me just now having this conversation with him, but I'm sitting on the couch talking to him about this, and they pull up and I just tell him, thank you. Like, just thank you. Like, I hear you. I hear you. And God, this is not new to me. Like, God is such a personal God, and not just with me. If you have a relationship with God, God is a personal God. All you have to do is talk to him, seek him. He wants that with you. He desires that with you. He wants to be close to you. His word says, draw near to him and he'll draw near to you. He desires to have that with you. So I'm just talking to him, and this person pulls up, and I'm just like, thank you. Thank you. Because I needed that reassurance in the moment, because my flesh was weak. Like, my flesh was weak and I needed that. So on day 20, it was just like, because the gift card, I ended up going to get me dinner, because again, day 20 is Monday. Monday is my self-care day. So I go out and I pick up dinner and I begin to play my worship music, and I'm just in my car singing and thanking God and praising God. And don't get me wrong, my circumstances had not changed. I'm still in this hard season. I'm still going through things. I am still externally going through these hard circumstances, but I am internally reassured and remembering who I am, whose I am, and knowing God is there for me and he sees me and he hears me and he's concerned about me and cares about me and has not left me. And y'all, I just felt good. And day 20 was such a great day because I'm just reminded of my Savior. Y'all, feel full all over again. I feel like I felt on day 20 because this seeing this just reminded me of day 20 all over again, and how I felt in that moment is how I'm feeling right now. I just encourage myself all over again because, again, I told you the external has not changed. And I hope that has encouraged you, because you may be on the other end listening to this and your external circumstances may be hard right now. You may be going through a hard season right now, and you may need to be reminded that God sees you and he's concerned about you and he cares about you, because he does. Day 21, I asked the lady that cleans our home to come early because it's Tuesday. Day 21 is Tuesday. She usually comes on a Wednesday, but that Wednesday, our daughter's daycare was going to be closed for the Thanksgiving holiday. So I asked our cleaning lady to come that Tuesday to clean our home, which was the best decision I could have made, because imagine her trying to clean our home with all three children, especially a 3-year-old Tyler in her way. So yes, Tuesday was a good day because I got our home clean. And I got our home clean without having to worry about keeping a 3-year-old Tyler out her way. Day 22, I started cooking that day, which was that Wednesday, because Thursday was going to be my only day off, which was Thanksgiving Day. I didn't have any other days off. And I'm glad I did it like that, because I wanted to make the best of my time instead of spending all of Thanksgiving trying to cook and cooking all day, because I wanted to make sure I spent time with my family. And it was my first time making dressing and a sweet potato pie. So I ended up deciding to do those that Wednesday, since it was my first time, just to make sure I had time to take my time and really cook them and didn't have any problems with them. And y'all, they really turned out really good. Like, I was proud. Like, I was really proud. Day 23, this was the first Thanksgiving we stayed at home. We didn't do any traveling and we didn't host. And I cooked everything myself. What I usually do is we usually cater a few dishes and I'll cook some of the dishes, or we're either at somebody's house, my family, or my husband's family. So we don't have to cook a lot of stuff. But this time we didn't go anywhere. We didn't host anybody. So I cooked everything myself. And y'all, it felt good. I felt like a real adult. Like, I felt like a real freaking adult. And y'all, my son, which made me really proud, like I wanted to cry. After we ate dinner as a family at the table, and after we got done eating, my son, he said, Mama, thank you for the meal. Thank you for the food. I was like, what? Boy, you ain't never thank me for no food. Like, unless I bought food or something, like he'll tell me thank you for that. But he ain't never like got up from the dinner table and said thank you. Thank you for the food. Like, that made me feel really good about, the meal that I prepared for my family. So day 23 was a really good day for me, y'all. It was a really good day. And I called my grandma, because my grandma, she's the one who makes dressing and sweet potato pie for me every year. Like, that's just, as long as I've been an adult, as long as I can go back and remember, she's always made these for me every year. And this was the first year I did it myself. So I called her to let her know. And she was so proud of me. Like, I felt like a little girl. I love my grandma and my great grandma. God rest her soul. She would have been proud of me too. She was proud of me. So it was good calling her, letting her know I made my first dress and sweet potato for my family. So I think that was pretty doggone dope. Pretty doggone dope. Day 24, I went and got my nails done and my eyebrows waxed, y'all. Yeah. Day 20, I took a nap afterwards. Yeah, I am not a napper, but naps really be good now. Like I really see what people be talking about. Like I have the older I get, I'm turning into that lady. I'm turning to an old lady, y'all. The older I get, the more I appreciate good sleep. Like I really do. But I'm a napper. I'm turning into a freaking napper. But I had a good nap afterwards. And after my nap, I got dressed up, did my makeup, and I took myself out for dinner, for happy hour, and had a good time. Day 25 was a really good day. It was a really good day. Day 26. So day 26 ties into day 25, which was this past weekend. I took myself on a solo self-care trip. And I went to Memphis, and y'all, I had the most amazing time. The most amazing time. Y'all gonna have to go on my Facebook page. If you don't follow me on Facebook, or you can go on my TikTok. So Facebook at Demo with Mo, TikTok at Demo with Mo. So you can see everything that I did there in details, and you can see the businesses. So you can follow them and you can check them out. If you're ever in Memphis, I encourage you, go check them out. Go follow my pages, go check out those businesses so you can see exactly where I went. And you can go support them because every place that I went to had amazing food, dope customer service. They were just great businesses that I would encourage you to go support and check out. Day 26, I slept in. I slept in at 9. I didn't sleep that whole time, but I stayed in bed to 9. Again, something I never do. I ended up going to this place called Mo Bay Beignet and had mini beignets, which were amazing. Do you hear me? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And after that, I went to Memphis Botanic Garden. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I encourage everybody to experience this at least one time. That was my first time ever going. I've been to Memphis a lot of times, but this was my first time ever going and experiencing the Botanic Garden. And before leaving, I went to Gus's Fried Chicken, and the food was great, but the service, impeccable. I didn't have to ask for anything, not even one time. So, solo self-care trip, if you've never been, I encourage you to go at least one time. At least one time. Oh my goodness. I had a great time, y'all. Day 27, I went to the dentist and got my teeth cleaned. I told y'all, self-care is about taking care of your well-being holistically. All of you, not just parts of you. All of you. So make sure you take care of your health and wellness. Get those appointments scheduled. Make sure you keep them. Make sure you get them rescheduled when you miss them. Keep your appointments. Make sure you get your annuals, your physicals. Y'all, take care of yourself. Day 28, I scheduled a session to see my therapist. I told y'all before my last one, it had been well over a month since I saw my therapist, and I need to see her. I desire to see her at least twice a month. So yesterday I made sure I got a session scheduled with her. So it won't be like last time when I look up and a month has passed since the last time I saw her. So day 29, I am going to have dinner with a girlfriend. And I also, one of the girlfriends that I told you about from the Friendsgiving that reaches out to me to check on me periodically, she actually reached out to me as I'm recording this. It's day 29. And she reached out to me. And can I be honest with y'all? She asked me how I was doing, and I said I'm doing good. And then I asked her how she was doing, and she told me. But then she said, I just wanted to see how you was doing, and I wanted to check in with you. And when she said that, I said, Monique, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do the opposite of what you've learned in therapy. Don't do this. Okay. So I ended up responding back and telling her how much I appreciated her checking in on me and her consistency of checking in on me and how much I appreciated it. And then I also said, I'm doing good, but I'm walking through a really hard season right now. Because my therapist has taught me it's okay to be honest about where you are. And you don't have to give the details of everything. And I want to encourage you guys that as well, because sometimes you just don't want to, you want to allow people in, but you don't want to share your business. That's what you desire, you know? And she said what she said. And then she offered me us getting together, hanging out. And Monique, before therapy, would have kind of like brushed it off, or because I have my circle, I have my close friends. Those are my people. But I told y'all, my girlfriends have moved away. And now it's time for me to attempt at making a new village. One that's physically here. And nothing's gonna change with my girlfriends. Those my sisters. We're gonna ride till the wheels fall off. But I also need people that are physically here with me. And I've accepted that. And I encourage that for my girlfriends. Like, now it's about me learning to do the things that I encourage others to do in my own life. So I told her I'm accepting that offer and we are going to get together. So y'all, I'm putting myself out there. I told y'all this self-care challenge was about knocking some things off my bucket list and facing my fears and conquering them. And I'm proud to say, as I prepare to close out this month of November in this self-care challenge, I have done just that. So when this episode airs on November 30th, I can say that I'm proud of the self-care work that I've done. I can look myself in the mirror and say, girl, you did that. So I hope my journey has encouraged you to do some self-care work holistically, not just the cute stuff, but that hard work as well, from the inside out. I hope what I have said has encouraged you on your journey, wherever you are. Whether you are on the beginning of the spectrum where you need to begin the self-care work, you're on the middle where you do it here and there, you get it in where you can, or you at the end where you got this self-care work down and you need to encourage somebody else. Let's continue to do this self-care work. Remember, I love you, but God loves you so much more. I'll see you next week. Bye. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Follow me on Facebook at Demo with Mo. If you have any questions you would like answered here live on my podcast, email them to me at demowithmo@gmail.com. That's DEMOWITHMO@gmail.com.